Dear friends, dear congregation, I would ask you now to please turn your very prayerful attention to those words that I read to you in your hearing this evening, earlier there in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. We arrive this evening in the 10th verse. We have been considering the subject of whether to marry or not to marry. Paul has been discussing the Christian's liberty, and it is a Christian's liberty whether to marry or not. And the Lord gives his people power. When he gives them liberty, he gives them ability to do certain things. It is given some to be eunuchs, as the Lord Jesus said, some to be virgins, some not to marry, some to marry. And we continue on with this subject tonight as the Apostle Paul gives us God's inspired, infallible word. He says in verse 10, "And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband." Now some may be wondering here tonight, what is Paul saying in verse 10? Some might even come to verse 10 and say, well, Paul is not saying, he's saying here that his words are not the Lord's words. He's not saying that at all. And many of the liberals will jump on verse 10. But as we'll see tonight, what Paul is discussing here, he is giving teaching on things that the Lord Jesus hasn't given teaching on. And we'll open up what Paul says here. He says, "Unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord." And then in verse 11 he says, "But if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.